Okay, hi everyone, and welcome to what is the last episode in our Athlete Hotseat series. We've heard from a great range of people over the last few months, but today's guest is particularly exciting. Tom George started rowing at Radley College. He moved to the US to study and row at Princeton, and now he competes for Leander Club and the GB rowing team. He's won medals for Great Britain at the Junior, Under-23 and Senior World Championships, but that's not the main thing we're going to be talking about today, because just over a month ago, Tom completed a 2K Ergo test in a new British record time of 5:39.6 seconds. That made him only the 8th person in the world ever to break 5:40 at an average split of 1:24.9 for the whole piece. Even more impressive is that that test was done in his parents' garage during the lockdown. So, just going to bring Tom in. There we go. Tom, hello. Welcome.
Hello, Chris.
Welcome to Sir William Perkins.
Very kind words. Thank you.
It is.
I would just say we also rode together at Leander in the intermediary between Radley and Princeton. Chris and I actually rode together, so we'll put that out there. I know you were keeping that quiet, Chris.
It was a good time, a good month or so sat in front of you. I'm sure you learnt a lot. So I thought a good place to start, Tom, would be to ask what it's been like since doing that Ergo, because it certainly generated some interest, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been weird. It's definitely been a bit of a media circus, slightly, which I probably wasn't expecting. Particularly in regards to just like when it got announced into the media and like British Rowing made a press release. It was actually 2.5 weeks since I'd done it, so I'd kind of mentally moved on from that point and kind of like had taken stock of it and acknowledged it, but it wasn't something that was totally sort of fresh in my mind. I wasn't still sort of riding that wave of elation. I'd kind of moved on and been like, right, I've done that, but I've still got my job to do in relation to the other guys who are training, and I'm still part of that team. It's not about individual performances, as we know. You know, when we get to Tokyo, the score that I put out on the erg is somewhat irrelevant in terms of winning gold medals. So really cool, but it's definitely been quite strange. I had about 6 days where I had every single day I had like a different sort of media thing, whether it was like the BBC radio or like the Times came, things like that, which I guess is definitely indicative of the times we're in. You know, there was no sports on at the time, which I'd say got quite lucky with, or like meant that it got a lot more attention than it probably would have done if like the European Championships were meant to be taking place right now. So if England were banging in goals in the European Championships, I highly doubt me pulling hard on a rowing machine in my garage would have made any press. But obviously it was pretty cool. It definitely got like to the point where I was like, right, I'm kind of ready for this to just end. Yeah. Because the thing you kind of don't talk about, and I guess it's given me insight into how, like, famously, like Mo Farah has fallen out with the press and a few other people, because you do realise that you just kind of do the same interview every day for quite a long time, and by the end it's sort of like hard to look enthusiastic about it maybe, and slightly, you look like you sort of look a bit arrogant almost maybe when you're just like, okay, yeah, this and this, and trying to sort of kind of get through it by the end, which probably sounds a bit weird, but I guess for me, like, I'm just a rower and I just want to like row fast, obviously fast and well, to be able to win the Olympics, and like this feels like a stepping stone on the way there, but it's not really a destination, it's part of the journey, and so it felt quite weird having it treated as a destination slightly. Yeah, no, I can imagine that is quite strange. You mentioned there that rightly so it did gain a lot of media attention, but I guess one of the biggest validators normally would kind of be the reaction of those closest to you, the people that you train with every day, the coaches, your fellow athletes. Has it been strange kind of producing such an amazing physical feat, which obviously it has been, but then just, like you say, having to kind of carry on with this strange, restricted life that we're all having at the moment? Yeah, definitely. I think you're definitely right about like wanting the validation from those guys close to you who it basically matters to most, which would be your coaches and the guys you're in a boat with. And Jurgen was kind of obviously over the moon and was very positive, gave me a good call. A big phone call was like, make sure you have a beer this evening and just like take time to like appreciate this moment. And so were the guys in the boat, like obviously quite weirdly, but also it's great in terms of where the team is. Like Mo is still on the team, still rowing.
So Mo is that's the guy who had the record before you.
Yeah, exactly. So unlike when Mo got it off Princeton, and that was just like cut and dried, like, okay, changing the guard. I feel like in this case, it can only be a good thing, but I feel like it's created like a bit of competition between the two of us.
Yeah.
And so I was very aware of that and wanted to make sure that like the guys, it wasn't like massively hyped and the guys around me, but actually Mo was so into like the hype of it, and he was like, look, mate, been trying for 5 years to do this, so make sure you enjoy it and celebrate it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, as you said, like returning from that point to just being back in the next day, like back in the garage training, was very strange. And like direct aftermath of doing it and going 5:39, I'm in the garage. I didn't like, if I've been in Caversham, there are like loads of people like yelling at you, screaming, like so much energy in the room. It's a huge event. In the garage, it's just you against yourself and your own mind, and kind of like stopped, finished, like let go of the handle. It was like sort of stunned silence almost, rather than like any form of sort of celebratory feeling, and then just the lactic acid just hits and you're in absolute agony. So.
Yeah.
But it has been strange, and it's been hard, definitely, from that massive high to then return to just like every day, just do your job, put one foot in front of the other, and make sure that you're doing what you can for the team. So it's definitely been strange.
Yeah. No, I guess almost like a weird sort of purity to that performance, because it wasn't for anyone other than you. No one was watching. Yeah. It was you and the machine, which I know definitely. People use that as a cliche a lot of the time. It was me against the machine, but it really was in your instance here. If we just go back to the kind of the big day itself, how was your mindset going into that test? I know, well, I'm guessing you knew that you were in pretty good shape ahead of it.
Yeah. My training had been really, really good in the first half. What was it? It was probably week 12 of the lockdown, week 11 of the lockdown. So my training had been really, really good up to that point. I'd been massively motivated, and I'd basically just taken it upon myself to treat every day as an opportunity to do something that, like, everyone in the world is in lockdown. So it's an opportunity, and everyone's going to react differently to it, but make sure that you react in the best way you can for your own performances. And so every day I woke up and I was like, I want to go and train because I want to get better. So my mindset was really good, and I knew that I was in great shape. And I actually got lucky because the program was actually a 2K on the Friday and on the Saturday. And so on the Friday, Jürgen had said, race pace to the K and then just relax, not like completely back off, but just relax, take it in, drop the rate, chill out. And so I got to the K and it was like 125.3 average probably through the K. And I was like, right, this is exactly where I want to be, because I could sprint 0.3.
Yeah.
1,000 times out of 1,000, I was like, and then I finished and I was like, okay, wow. This was like the first time I actually believed that I could do it.
Yeah.
And then I don't tell many people this. I actually texted two of my best friends on like a WhatsApp group chat with a screenshot of that Friday piece, and I just said, "Look, I think it's on. This is the first time ever I think it's on," which massively set myself up to fail potentially.
Yeah.
And I didn't even say afterwards straight away. I was like, "Now I've said this, invariably, I'll blow and it'll go horribly for me." And one of them was just like, "No, I reckon you've got this." And then so then the next day it was just like going into it. All I could think about was just like, right, do the same thing to the K, because if you do the same thing to the K, it's not guaranteed, but you've put yourself in a position, and that's all you can do in that first K.
Yeah.
And then basically, third 500 was where I knew that going into the P. So I was like, it's all on that third 500, because I know I can do it to the K now, 100%, and I know I can do it in the last 500.
Yeah.
So it's all in that third, and maybe the legs won't be there for me, and I very much sort of thought that through and mentally like prepared for that I'd get to the K the way that I planned, and then not be able to execute that third 500 for whatever reason. The legs just don't have it in them, or I'm actually not in the same the shape that I thought I was. So I sort of prepared for that as well in like a weird way, but I kind of just went into it just being basically just really calm. I was like, I've got nothing to prove to anyone. I just want to this is obviously, as you said earlier, like very pure, like it's just me in the shed by myself. So let's just sort of see what happens, and as long as I set myself up well in that first half, then I know that I can probably do it in the second half.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting to kind of hear how you had lined yourself up ahead of it. Do you think that you'd benefited from doing some varied training during the lockdown prior to that Ergo? Because it's something that everyone is having to do some different things. You know, our girls, they've been doing a lot of running, and I know you've been out exploring the countryside on your bike. Do you think that's something that actually helped, having that bit of difference in your program?
Yeah, 100%. Like definitely, because I've thought about it a lot actually now, because I kind of was like, what has been the sort of comparative point of difference between this and what I was doing before? And I guess that was like something that has definitely changed. That's like a new thing that I've added into the training. And at the start of the lockdown, I don't know, I guess a bit of a nerd like this, but like found a couple of like science like research papers that people have written about like training and optimal training. And obviously, like, you can kind of find an opinion on everything one way or the other. So I was like, there was part of me definitely that was like, okay, well, maybe, you know, I can find things that don't support this. But one of the things I sort of read was like transversing the levels is really important. And so if you're just doing steady state stuff, do the light stuff light and the hard. And if you're, you know, so if I'm just doing a 20k, just actually probably going slower than I would expect. Because that will allow you to then do the hard stuff harder than you think you can. And then the other thing was like, that transversing levels such that, and like training zones, so that when you go on your bike, right, there's a bit at UT2, there's bits at UT1, then you climb a hill and suddenly, you know, around here, I live in the Cotswolds for everyone out there, so there's some very steep hills. So I was finding that I was actually spending little bits of time in everything.
Yeah.
And it was not intervals training because I was riding for like up to 5 hours, but just being able to like do that and sort of touch those zones and be able to like allow the heart to like have that basically heart rate variability.
Yeah.
And I read that would be good. And when I bought the bike, that was not really in my mind at all. It was just because I like going out on my bike and training on my bike. But when I read that, I was like, okay, it kind of in my head like justified it even more to me to like commit to it a bit. And then the other thing I read was that like time under duress is better than like intensity within that time. So if you're going to do a 20k erg, it's far better for your fitness to do a 24k erg but 2 splits slower than a 20k erg but 1 split faster. Yeah. And so in that regard, I was then like, right, well, if I go out riding, like sitting on the erg, everyone knows it's pretty boring at the best of times. Yeah. And if you're doing it by yourself in a garage, it's very, very hard sometimes. And so just like going out on the bike and just spending that time, just being like, look, I'm just going to ride 100k right now or whatever, and enjoy it. One, doing it for myself. It doesn't feel like training because I'm having such a good time. Yeah. Stop for coffee somewhere, you know, little things like that. So obviously that was latterly once cafes had reopened. But and kind of like spend that time, just a bit of time under duress basically. And those were like things that I think definitely benefited me getting into it and just kept my mind fresher too.
Yeah. No, that's something that we talked about with the guys that we've got rowing at our school. The going out when they're going out for a run, actually taking things in. You know, you're not on an ergo staring at a wall. Yeah. You're out in the countryside, or you're in a park, or you're by a river, taking things in, and that idea of being present in the moment, which you know, it sounds like you definitely found that out on your bike.
So actually, weirdly, also one of the things I've sort of added into my like lifestyle or tried to during the lockdown was like Headspace, the app.
Yeah.
Right. So talking about being like present, being like mindful. Like I've had the app for ages, and I've gone through phases where I've done like the free 10 days and just sort of done that, and then I was like, right, you know what? I'm actually just going to buy the premium version, and just like every day I'm going to commit to doing like 10 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And just see. I don't know if it's going to make any difference, but in terms of just like where you're at mentally, I feel like for me it just like sort of free things up. And when you combine that with like being on the bike and mixing things up, you are able to just sort of appreciate what you're doing a bit more, rather than just like, obviously the erg is kind of second nature to all like us rowers. So you kind of just like, oh, I'm just getting on the erg, great, I'll just do it. Like it's nothing special about it. Instead, you're like, okay, I'm going to go out for this ride. I'm going to sort of like enjoy it, be sort of present with it and mindful, and then also you spend far less time on the erg, so when you get on the erg, you make sure it's better.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting, and it's that idea of trying to take your exercise or training back to something that you're doing largely because you're enjoying it. and not because it's a thing that you have to and it's written on a piece of paper. Which, it's easy enough to feel like that when you're at school, let alone when you are, doing the amount of training that you guys are used to doing. I just thought it would be interesting to know how you kind of prepare for a performance day. So say on the Ergo, you've got a 2K test. Could you outline your kind of test day routine for us up till the point where you get on and you're ready for them to say go, or for you to decide to go in your case a month ago?
Yeah, for sure. The first thing I'd say is, like, before the test day, I found that the Thursday session's always been steady state in this period. And when we've had the test on the Saturday, I've just made sure I've got a watt bike, which is pretty useful. And so on those days, instead of doing a 20k erg, I do a 100-minute watt bike, because that's sort of like what we're told is a transferable time. And I just like stare at my heart rate basically, and I'll be like, make sure I'm just not like chasing watts or anything. It's just like, that's going to be just like a really good UT2 day. I'm banging that zone, and I'm not like playing around with anything.
Yeah.
That's really the first thing. And then obviously Friday I just do whatever session it is. But that was like the first one. It's been like, I'm not going to like put myself in a hole on the bike or on the erg on that Thursday, but I'm going to be like kind of mindful of what I'm doing and making sure that it's like contributing well to that Saturday. And then Saturday mornings, or test day mornings even, I guess I wake up at the same time. I've been waking up at the same time at 7 a.m. every day. Or slightly earlier. If I'm going riding, it's been a bit earlier, but otherwise basically like 7 a.m. for a 7:45 to 8 o'clock start. So I just keep that exactly the same, because you don't want to like just sort of play around too much with it. Never drink coffee in the morning till after my first session, ever. Like, even when we're just training. And I kind of feel like that's pretty good, because caffeine sort of inhibits your serotonin production, which is like your wake-up hormone. And so if you have caffeine, your body every morning, first thing, your body relies on it, and then you produce less of it. So I guess like coffee does come into my preparation, but not really early. Then do like a 45-minute warm-up session. When we're at calcium, that has to be 12k on the erg, basically. Yeah. More or less non-negotiable. But here it's been 22 minutes on the watt bike, basically at UT3. Yeah. And then a 6k erg at UT2 with like a little bit of UT1 at the end of that. Yeah. And then come in, have some porridge. That's what the sort of breakfast of choice when I have a second session. Yeah. I always have a bit of yogurt before the first session, by the way, but not very much, just like a little bit. And then just chill out, basically, just like completely switch off from it. Then I'll like make a cup of coffee, get sort of changed and everything. Probably get on the bike to start warming up at like 10:30, so kind of work back from there in terms of like when I like make coffee. Yeah. And then something I've sort of played with a bit during the lockdown is how long I take to warm up. Someone told me that Murray and Bond, the like Kiwi pair, used to sit on the bikes at World Cups and everything for like an hour before, just at like UT4, UT3, but in a position where they're just like warming things up, everything's just getting warm, so all those like little muscles are just like warmed up. So I was like, well, I might as well try this and just sort of see, like, obviously I'm not going to do for like an hour, but so I'd get on the erg and on the bike even and spend for at least like 20 to 25 minutes, like sort of slightly building the intensity, and then get on the erg. I'm basically warm then in terms of like the body. And then you're just like, I'll do like 10 minutes UT2 and a bit of UT1 towards the end of it. And then 3 or 4 bursts, 12 strokes probably. And then from there, it's like, right, take a couple of minutes just to take stock that you're about to go. You obviously get that thought in your head where you're like, oh, I don't really want to do this. You kind of sit there like playing around on your phone, like, oh, I'll just set a heart rate monitor. I've got to just change the song again because I'm not sure. And you're just like stalling mentally for kind of no reason, but I don't know why I always do it. And then sort of like get ready, and I'm like, right, let's go.
So you touched there a little bit about kind of feeling a little bit nervous, and that's something that everyone, I think, of whatever age, whatever level, feels that some sort of nerves. I just sort of, I know you mentioned it a little bit there. If you take the Ergo from a month ago and then add in other Ergo tests that you've done, maybe say with a bigger crowd there supporting you, how have you kind of dealt with that as a thing? And is there any way that you've been able to turn it into a positive to actually help your performance, do you think?
Definitely. On the erg tests, I always get like a bit nervous but it's always like, right, I know I'm like, if I've done the work, I know I'm in a good position for it. And also kind of like, right, this is good, harness it. And I feel like literally until, on the erg, I find literally until I'm like ready to go, I'm reasonably calm. Obviously, like palms are a bit sweaty, you know, you're sort of a bit like, there's that sort of, it's sort of nervous energy where you're kind of like a bit twitchy and just sort of, you know, moving around a bit. But I'm not like, I'm going to be sick kind of thing, which I feel like World Championship finals, things like that, you get a little bit more of that where you're kind of like in the boat and you're like, wow, let me out of here sort of thing. But in both scenarios, like World Championship finals, I think I've definitely learned to sort of love that feeling, even though it's horrific. Like at the time, you're sitting there and you're like, right, this is good, here we go. And I think on the erg, I always find that I'm pretty calm with it and in control of it, probably until stroke 3 or 4. And then suddenly you get like the rush where it like all dawns on you. And I think actually, like, always use it to an advantage. You always feel good, but the thing you've got to do in that situation is not let it like go too hard, basically. Not be like, oh, I actually feel great. Wow, look at all this energy I've got. Where's this come from? And then just like spending too much in that start bit. But yeah, it's definitely something that like people handle it in very different ways. And like there's however you handle it doesn't make a difference, you know, like some of the people I know who get the most nervous and hate it the most then perform very well. It's not like, oh, I hate this and I don't really want to embrace it, so I'm going to be bad. You know, everyone embraces it differently. I kind of am a bit of a glutton for punishment, I guess, so I just sort of like enjoy sitting there and being like very alert and like everything like ears are ringing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and sort of like enjoy it, like try to embrace that. But there are points definitely where you're like, Christ, what is going on here?
Yeah, no, it definitely makes you feel alive, doesn't it? But almost in a way that at the time you don't really want to feel. But yeah, I think one kind of almost once they say go, you're back to doing the thing that you're used to doing and that you know how to do. I just thought it'd be interesting for us to get a kind of outline of piece by piece through the Ergo things that you think and things that you feel, and certainly on the one that you've just done, because obviously that was a totally new experience for you, something that you'd never been able to put together certainly at that time before. So if we start with the start phase, you mentioned there the nerves carrying into the first few strokes. How do you approach that start phase, that first 500? Kind of what things are you looking to feel? I don't know, rhythmically, physically, but you know, especially given, like you said, you're so full of energy and adrenaline. What's that like for you? What do you aim to feel?
So I think that in terms of like what I'm aiming to feel, it's like again, as I said, the first like 10 strokes, kind of just like stay in control basically, because it's very easy in that like energy and adrenaline to not stay in control. You know, sort of lose your control and be like, oh, okay. And so I think that first 10 strokes, like some people say like you have 12 seconds that are free, and I'm like, I don't really know if I subscribe to that. Essentially, I've always just been taught that you just go out, especially when you're on the water, like as hard as you can. So I don't really know if 12 seconds are free or not. And then it's about just obviously settling into your rhythm and making sure that you're on your rhythm and like you're at the pace that you should have planned for and should be aware that you can hold. Like you're doing something wrong if you're trying to hold a pace you've never seen before in the piece, you know. And I think first 500, just like get out well, get out hard, and then just settle onto your pace and just like find a good rhythm. I used to always rate very high, basically until this one. And I think it's because we did that piece on the Friday. I like got to the other side of it, and I was like, okay, I got to like the other side of the piece, and I was like, wow, I was way low on the rate. I can definitely sit low on the rate and just like use the time on the slide a bit. But yeah, kind of everyone does them differently. Everyone has a different rhythm and rate they want to sit at. But whatever it is, you should kind of know going into it. So just do your first 10 strokes hard, you know, get out high and hard, and then settle onto that rhythm and just trust it and just get that number and sit on it.
Yeah, and using your recent experiences to help guide you with that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting. That idea of getting out, but not kind of suicidally hard. I guess you want to feel in that first 500 like you could keep going, because you need to, don't you?
You need to, yeah, exactly, yeah.
So just moving on a little bit into the second 500, you're getting closer to halfway, and you are starting to become aware of the kind of discomfort as a thing that you're aware of, and that you're having to deal with. What's going through your head in that, say that ergo a month ago, from that 1500 to go to the K to go, that second block? How are you feeling there?
So 1500 to go, I'd say felt pretty good. I executed the first 500 how I wanted to, and so then I was very calm, just like, okay, second 500 exactly like we did yesterday. We're on pace to be where we want to be at the K. Third 500, and that was like, honestly, that's all I saw to report. My rate was a little bit slower. Not slower, lower. My rate was a little bit lower than I probably would normally have, but I just like really long strokes, just like hammering it through, and then came through the K, and just remember being like, I mean, this is kind of like romantically putting it, obviously, but I was kind of like a sort of, if not now, then when moment.
Yeah.
I was like, right, I've done exactly what I wanted. I'm at 125.3 at the K. Like, this has to be it. All I have to do is hold 125, basically, to 500 to go. Just sit there. And obviously, that's where the legs start screaming. Your head is just like all over the place. Like, you're not really thinking that straight. You know, you're kind of just like, right, just hold on. I got quite lucky, I guess. 700 to go. Like a song, I was listening to a Princeton rowing playlist, and a song came on from that I queued up, and when that came on, I was fully just like, okay,
no,
this could be it.
Yeah.
Because I've got 25 strokes, 20 strokes to the last 500, and I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'm aware of that. And then came into the last 500. Still said 540. Like projected time started saying 540 at that point. And then came into the last sort of 200. Sorry, I've shifted into the last 500 here. Came into the last like 300. Still said 540, and then it sort of flicked to 539. And I, in that moment, kind of, a lot of people have asked me this. They're like, so the last 20 strokes, was that like the most savage thing ever? Like, no vision, everything. Last 20 strokes was like the easiest 20 strokes of my entire career on an erg. Like, I'd read about this before from people, and I thought it was kind of like I did earlier, just sort of like athletes like waxing lyrical and like putting a romantic spin on some like horrific achievement. Like Roger Bannister's like the prime one, who said that he obviously got told that he was on to go under 4 minutes coming through with 400 to go, and he said it was just like autopilot, and he just could like bask in the moment. And honestly, it was kind of exactly like that. Like the projected finish said 5:39, and I wasn't slowing down. You know, I was just like holding that speed. You know, kind of like a gladiator field of wheat scenario. You're just like walking through, just like just very calm, really. And then, so I kind of knew I was going to do it for 22 strokes to go, 23 strokes to go, and then obviously it finished, and then kind of obviously full of adrenaline. Just like, it felt good. It must have only been like 5 seconds. It felt like an eternity. But just like sitting there. Obviously, I wasn't like yelling or anything. There was no one around. I didn't really know how to react. Just sort of like put the handle down. I was just like sitting there and just felt almost like invincible, honestly, like indestructible. And then just immortal almost is how it kind of felt, because you're like just so like full and so pumped. And then bang, just like that, like an absolute wave. The lactic acid just hits and you're out. And then I felt horrible for the next 24 hours.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting hearing you talk about those feelings, especially those ones in the last 200 meters or so, where you, like you say, it was almost like you were floating. Because I think that's something that's interesting, especially for the guys watching. For you, it was this 540 barrier, and it was a British record, and it was numbers that we're going to get in the newspapers and all of that. But that feeling, I think it's very achievable and attainable for people, regardless of where that barrier 100%. Is. Whether it's, like we say, you with 540, whether it's someone breaking 8 minutes for the first time, getting their PB. I think it's really exciting, hearing that from you, but the idea that that feeling is attainable for anyone. It's just the final time that's the movable feast, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think
definitely.
It's a sort of thing that not all ergo tests go like that. Obviously, I'm sure you've had plenty that haven't felt like that. I definitely experienced the same. But the ones where that does happen, it's that feeling of almost being that so alive, isn't it? And just floating.
Yeah. And I guess every time you PB, you get like an element of that. And I guess that on like the men's side, it's like 5:40 in 6 minutes. It kind of like, and maybe 5:50 as well. You know, breaking those bands. And then I guess on the women's side, what is it, like 7 minutes, 6:50, 6:40 kind of thing. And like if you win dip under those, and those are kind of like things that the sport have created, you know. But ultimately, every time you PB, you get that. You kind of can get that feeling. You can read it, and that's obviously why you keep rowing. You know, it's the same when you win. If you like, okay, I never have, but if you win at Henley, and like winning races at Henley, I've won semi-finals at Henley where like you're absolutely blitzing yourself, but the last like 500 meters just feels so easy.
Yeah.
Right, because you're ahead and you're just dictating and you're just absolutely dominating someone and like another crew. And so I guess it's why we like kind of keep coming back to rowing, isn't it? It's this like feedback sort of loop that means that you get a huge amount of pleasure and like you feel amazing on the basis of these like these achievements and these very, very attainable things. And like people outside of rowing don't understand it.
Yeah.
And they watch you suffer. You're like, why do you ever do this? But it's to like chase that moment.
Yeah. And it's that idea that keeps you going, that every time you sit on the start, it can happen. You know, that every race you get on there, and if you don't think it can happen, why are you there? Kind of thing.
Exactly.
I think it's really interesting getting the chance to talk to you, to get these insights from what it was like for you doing something that very few people watching this will ever have the chance to think about doing, but it's that feeling which is translatable to everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, the Ergo comic's only a part of the whole rowing picture. You've very often been a key member of some very fast eights. Your first international medal was a bronze in the Junior Worlds 8 back in 2012. Last season you won bronze in the 8 at the Senior Worlds, and you were in part of a whole load of 8s at Princeton in your time racing in the States. Now, we've talked a little bit about how you prepare for your ergos, which are inherently quite an individual pursuit. I just wondered how that preparation changes when you're in a boat with 8 other people, where there are potentially 8 other ways of trying to prepare for something.
It's obviously very different, and kind of like, I guess in terms of the nervous energy aspect of it should be very similar, and you want to try and keep it very similar because you want it to be something that's kind of familiar for you. You don't want it to become overwhelming. But you've also got to understand that the people around you, they deal with their nervous energy in their own way, absolutely. And so you kind of have to like respect that. Some people do become very loud. I don't know. I've been known to sort of not be loud, but kind of just like try and like get people going, especially if I think that someone around me, it's not just that they're quiet, but they've kind of gone into their shell rather than just like preparing for it. I'll try and like buoy them up a bit. But I kind of hate the like hoorah aspect that you get a little bit in the States. But I think that everyone prepares in their own way, and like you kind of have to, and not only within your boat, but obviously other boats. You hear other boats, and some of them are going to be loud, and then you hear them, and you've got to be able to like compartmentalize that and not let that like throw you off, and not let that rattle you, because if it does, then that's kind of what they're aiming for, you know. And it's kind of, I always just view it as like, when it's guys in my boat, I'm like, and you be loud if you want to be loud. That's like your thing. But if it's someone else, I'm like, that guy's just so insecure that he's just trying to project that onto someone else. Like, we're going to beat that guy, you know. And so I guess like that's probably how everyone feels within boats. But I guess you just got to like be mindful of it and let everyone kind of do their thing. And obviously, like if someone's being ridiculous or like crosses the line, then maybe afterwards you just like have a word and you're like, hey man, like I don't really think that was you hyping yourself up or like helping to hype up people in the crew. I think that was like a little bit much. But I think that up until that line, you just got to let people kind of do their own thing. And like you kind of switch off from it and know that you're preparing yourself internally, and like you can't let other people within your boat's like preparation hinder yours or like affect yours, you know. So you can't have like if they want to be loud, you can't let that detract from you being quiet, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess it's quite important to kind of figure out through the season, or whatever the lifetime of your crew is. You know, because for you in the squad, you'll be put together fairly early in an international season, but figuring out what you're likely to get from everyone, so that when it comes to the days that matter, it's not a surprise or it's not off-putting. Is there?
I guess the one thing that was very different in my first time racing a boat with Mo was obviously that Mo is practicing Muslim and prays at the start, and he only does it for like the big races, so I like wasn't kind of expecting it, and that was something that obviously you can't really prepare for either. You know, whilst like on the whole you kind of like are able to do like World Cups and things, but like he doesn't do that at the World Cups because it's it's like World Championships, and so with that, in regards to that, was like definitely a bit of a curveball for me, and I was sitting behind him. I wasn't really expecting it, but it kind of fired me up. You know, I've seen him do it on TV.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, when I was at Princeton 2016 Olympics, I saw Mo doing it on TV, like, and you can kind of hear it on TV. And then he started doing it in front of me, and I was like, yeah, here we go. This guy's about to absolutely throw down. Yeah. And it's going to be absolutely legendary, and I'm just going to go with him because it could be,
It's so interesting, kind of hearing about that sort of thing happening, like you say, just right in front of you in the boat. Do you think there's anything to be gained? So say you're training in a squad with these people all year, and you've got an eye and you see how people are behaving or reacting on days of races, so you've got an idea of it. But once you are in that crew, do you think it's something it's a good idea to talk about, say in meetings, or like to set it up so that you're like, right, this is a way that I think I expect you to act, I expect you to act, and that's cool. That's how you're going to be on the day of the race, and that's how I'm going to be. Do you think that there's something in that?
Definitely, and I think it's kind of hard as well, and probably even more important to like discuss if you're doing like a trial system like we do, because when we're all in pairs, like a lot of peacocking goes on and like ridiculous stuff, and so amongst boats, and a lot of like chat between boats and things like that, and so in that regard, it's probably then quite important to be like there are guys that who like throw so much chat when you're in pairs and everything, and then you're in a crew boat with them and they're actually quite quiet in the prep for races.
Yeah.
And it's like maybe it's because it's international, not just like with their mates. I don't know, but kind of like those kind of inconsistencies can not cause issues, but can throw people off a bit if they're like not ready for it. And so I think definitely especially if you're like you want to and you feel like you're going to be more at ease with it, then yeah, absolutely. Like you should never not do something because you don't think you should. You know, if you want to bring that up and discuss it with the guys in the boat because it will make you feel more comfortable for your preparation, then absolutely.
Yeah, and I guess it's the sort of thing that, say, by the point you're at in your career, you've had quite a lot of years of experience and you've built up the way that you do things yourself. But for the girls that are watching here at school, I guess it is something that's good for them to try different things and to try different ways. You know, if they feel like maybe they sometimes get a little bit too insular, it's a good thing to talk about, be aware of, and then see if by being a little bit more extroverted with one of their friends or one of their crewmates, it might actually help them. So it's very interesting to get your take on that. Now, just looking forward a little bit to the year ahead. Every row around the world, they've had their kind of goalposts shifted, and pretty much everything big that was happening in 2020, all those events are off, and we're building towards the 2021 versions. I just wondered how you have and how you are framing the Tokyo Olympic delay, and kind of how you feel now, say at this point in what was going to be a long and pressured season that has become a long and strange season.
Yeah. I guess, this is actually a very, very pointed question, because what is it? We would have been flying to the Olympics in like 5 days' time.
Yeah.
So, I guess the way I sort of framed it, and like I sort of touched on earlier, was just making sure that like, okay, there's no pressure on me now for this season. There's no racing at all, which is a massive shame. So like, I want to be able to make sure that I like progress as an athlete and hold myself accountable to that. And then also like as an eight, we've kind of, the guys who were named in the eight, I mean, we're not like the eight for next year yet, but like we've sort of stayed in contact with each other. And for those guys, it's kind of important to hold each other accountable as well. Yeah, in terms of like the long and strange season, at this stage right now, and like knowing that I've been going to the Olympics in 5 days' time, like I'm very ready to stop for the summer.
Yeah.
And we have got some holiday coming up in a week's time for 3 weeks, but like it's been quite a long time and a pretty hard time. And like to start with, I was very sort of positive about it. I was like, this is totally novel and quite interesting. And now, like I'm just done, honestly. Like, and I think that's probably a totally human reaction. Yeah. Like everyone sort of fluctuates motivation-wise at different points, and like knowing that your holiday is when your holiday is, which we have done, which is July 15th, and knowing that has meant that at those points where you are fluctuating, you can still like attack it a bit and be like, no, this is my job, this is what I'm doing for the guy, basically for the guys in the boat with. Yeah. Just keep putting that one foot in front of the other every day when you wake up. You just got to like keep doing your job to make sure that you're not the one that's letting other people down. Yeah. In terms of how I sort of framed it when the in terms of how I sort of framed it when the Olympics got cancelled, it was kind of a weird one because obviously, like, I don't know what my plans were beyond the Olympics. You know, I hadn't even really thought about it. It was like I want to go to the Olympic Games, and that had become such like a driving force and such like a big thing, and almost an obsession ultimately. Yeah. But I hadn't really thought beyond it, and so I guess in the way that it had become an obsession, it was kind of just like, obviously I'm going to do another year. Like that wasn't really like a debate in my head. Like I'm still pretty young, I'm only 25, and so it was like quite easy in that regard, and then easy to sort of throw myself into this next phase. But for the guys who are older and like trying to get married or have already got married or want to have kids, you know, there's things like that there that are massive like life moments, and then like, you know, all of us who have girlfriends or like and the guys who have wives. Like they're incredibly supportive, but at some point that sort of music stops slightly. Yeah. You know, and like I imagine a lot of them frame it as like, I want to go to 2020, and it's like, yeah, sure, like that's great, I want to support you on that. But then when 2020 comes and you're not there yet, and it's like, no, sure, I want to go to 2021. That's like, you know, there are interesting dynamics there that have to be considered and have to be framed, especially when there's been no racing this whole year. Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm going to do another whole year, basically a whole year of training for that one season, and yeah, I guess. Like how you approach it will probably ultimately define how you go in Tokyo. Yeah. So I'm like quite pleased that I've been able to like stay pretty positive. Yeah. Definitely been helped by the fact that I was able to like, move back to my parents' house. Yeah. There's just a lot more space here. Yeah. Like my flat in Henley is great, but it's pretty small. And if I had to train in it, it wouldn't be ideal. Mum cooks my dinner. That's ideal, and that's like definitely helped. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely been weird, and I think the bit that's just kind of hard is that mates who aren't rowers, and obviously they support you as well, but they're all getting on with their lives, you know, and everyone's like doing different things, and there are points that you thought you'd get, you know, like the end of this year, I kind of thought that like if I was going to carry on rowing, I at least knew that I'd have like a reasonable amount of time off to be able to like refresh, recharge, and then go and like hang out with mates that I've basically neglected, and like not, or like I've been in touch with a bit, but like keep pulling out like things that they invite me to, stuff like that, because I've got to go and train. And so yeah, there are definitely like, it's been an interesting challenge, and there are parts of it that have been like harder than others. But we're like basically through this bit now, and I'm about to get some time off, and I'm absolutely stoked for it. Like mentally, I feel like I need a bit of space, and like we were saying with the bike earlier, like I'll probably like ride my bike a bit in that time off. But every time I get on my bike, I want it to get on my bike being like, I'm doing this for me. Yeah. Get on my bike like for me, to go and like just enjoy a little spin, to get a coffee or whatever, you know, a 40k ride where I'm just rather than being like, okay, this is training, like I've got my edge out, I'm like chasing a speed, I'm doing this. Yeah. So yeah. I
think it's really important and good for the people watching this who are not, you know, they weren't going to the Olympics this summer, but the fact that they felt very similar things, you know, motivation for all human beings in this period has been fluctuating, and you know, we are now, this is the 7th of July. It's coming towards the end of term. You know, you are close to your time off. They're all coming up to a bit of downtime over the summer, which is really important. And feeling like that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you or what you've been doing. You know, for them to hear that you're feeling like this, having had some of the events that have happened to you in the last couple of months, I think it is really important, and also quite reassuring for them. I just wondered, kind of finally, what approach do you think you're going to take when you do get back to training? You've refreshed, you've had your downtime, you've obviously had a big block of time without being with your mates every day going rowing at Caversham. What approach do you think you're going to have? How is it going to feel when you do get back there and you are kind of back on your mission again?
Obviously, it's like pretty exciting to go back. Just like, I guess a big part of it is, like you said, like not having seen all the guys I train with day in, day out. Very much looking forward to that, because there is like a social aspect to the sport, definitely, and like they are your teammates, you hang out with them a lot, and to go from like seeing them every day, all day, to not seeing them at all, it's quite weird. I mean, you definitely need that like social stimulus to keep you sane with the training. Last year was obviously like Olympic year, like phenomenally stressful and phenomenally high pressured, and like I probably didn't necessarily handle that as well as I could have done, especially in the early stages of last year, and I was like in a pair and wasn't going very well, and I probably let that get the better of me, and I wanted to I was like so desperate for it to go well that I probably let it consume me a bit. So I've probably learned from that, and I think I'll be able to use what I learned in the early stages of last year to hopefully like be in a better position at the start of this year. In terms of the sort of first part of it, I guess I think they're hoping it's going to be sort of business as usual as quickly as possible. But we have also obviously prepared for the fact that we might not be doing everything at Caversham together. So it might be like come to Caversham and row, men in the morning, women in the afternoon or something. And then in that afternoon period, we have to go back to our apartments and we'll get the apartment or whatever. And if that's the case, then obviously that's like another whole challenge that we've got to like embrace and take on. But I guess I've always said that I feel like this extra year can only be a good thing for us as a team. And it's obviously like been pretty well publicised that we haven't won a world championships over the last 4 years, and so we're pretty young and inexperienced as a team. And obviously, that every year we get more experience. But I think that when we get back to training and we're there again, like I just think we've got to make sure that we stay pretty grounded in what we've like achieved in this period of time, and we don't like descend into sort of like a load of sort of swinging cats around and making sure that and making sure that we do remain as a team, because it can be quite easy to for it to become quite divisive.
No, I think something you said there about using things that you've experienced through this, what has effectively become a non-season, to help you next year. I think that kind of crosses over quite nicely. Say, if I think about our own school, with our senior group, the bulk of the group is made up of year 11 and year 12 who do get the next season, where all the things that they've done this year, you know, all the good things, all the bits where it didn't necessarily go as they wanted, they can use to help them next season. So again, like a lot of the things we've talked about, they're applicable for you in your position, but also people of any ability level or any age as well. That's really, really interesting. Tom, thanks so much for your time today.
No, of course.
It really has been interesting, like we said, kind of delving into the mind of such a good racer, both on land and on water. We'll be watching and cheering you on eagerly across the next year, and all the best of luck from us here at Perkins. So thanks for being with us.
Thanks very much for having me, everyone. I appreciate it.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay safe and well, and I look forward to seeing you again on the other side of the summer holidays. So bye for now, everybody.